So if you haven't heard about these two series, Overcompensating and FX's Adults, you've probably been sleeping under a rock. But let me catch you up to speed real quick. Two shows targeted at the same generation, wildly different approaches, but still somehow a little bit similar. FX's Adults and A24's Overcompensating both claim to get Gen Z, all the anxiety, identity confusion, and the unhinged roommate energy. But here's the thing, are they actually representing us, or are they mimicking the meme version of us? Upon finishing Adults, I found it very, edgy, to say the least. It was raw, messy, and it was a ride through 20-something burnout in New York City. Then came Overcompensating, which was a more heartfelt but chaotic queer coming-of-age story. From what I read, it was based on Benito Skiller's real-life experiences. At first glance, they seem totally different, but if you dig deeper, the shows both tap into the same thing: Gen Z's emotional mess. Now, the question is, are these two shows quirky or are they spot on? We're going to be talking about these shows and more, but before we do that, hi, I'm Naya. This is my channel. If you're seeing this beautiful face and you like what you're seeing, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We're growing a tribe over here. I do media commentary, TV, film, anything trending, even if it has to do with pop culture. I'm your girl. So I'm gonna give you guys a few seconds to subscribe and then we can get straight into this video. Now, let's start off with introducing the characters from FX's Adults. We've got Samir, who is somewhat the leader of the group. He's the jobless stress ball. And then we have Billy, who is more career focused, but emotionally adrift. Anton, my favorite character personally, he is the people-pleasing party guy. We have Issa, who is the chaotic wild child. And by wild child, I mean that quite literally because episode 1 really does start with a bang, or a humiliation ritual. And we have Paul Baker, who is what I would quite literally categorize as a physical representation of a Gen Z boyfriend, TikTok boyfriend, whatever. Like, he's got the haircut, he's got the little mustache, he's got the painted nails, and he's got the fluidity. Bonus points because he's Canadian. I literally cannot escape any edits of Paul Baker on my FYP, and I'm not complaining. Together, they form a dysfunctional Gen Z house share trying to survive adulthood with zero chill whatsoever. In Overcompensating, we follow Benny, an anxious, closeted freshman who goes off to Yates University. He then meets his best friend, Carmen, who is unpredictable, messy, in a way that makes her both kind of magnetic and also very, very annoying and exhausting. While Adults feels like emotional burnout in a Brooklyn loft, Overcompensating is the inner monologue of every queer kid trying to find their people, but tripping over their own shame on the way. Both casts reflect different sides of Gen Z: emotional instability, search for identity, and friendship under pressure. The difference is in how far they're willing to go with that mess. Now let's get into the chaos and/or comedy. Both of these shows lean into the more chaotic elements, but I feel like Adults really threw me through a loop. Watching it was almost jarring, but at the same time refreshing. Adults throws you into absurd scenarios. Issa's public masturbation protest on the subway. I am not making this up. First minute of the episode.
He's going fast, he's harder.
I must engage. No need.
Crazy.
Sorry, no one else is doing anything.
That really threw me through a loop. It did. But when I found out that the executive producer was Nick Kroll, I was like, sounds about right. Samir mooning job recruiters on Zoom, and yes, the infamous raw chicken dinner party. It's giving Broad City meets Jackass, but sometimes it tends to veer into chaos for chaos' sake. Overcompensating, on the other hand, delivers emotional chaos and very high emotional stakes. Messy hookups, identity spirals. Benny lies about sleeping with Carmen to seem straight. Honestly, it was really funny how Carmen was genuinely falling for Benny the whole time, and Benny here had to kind of keep up this facade that he was straight. And it was really messy and exhausting to watch because Carmen really liked this guy, but at the same time their friendship became so wholesome. It was really enjoyable to watch them grow together. It was painful to see Carmen chase clout at parties and just, you know, embarrass herself. I feel like we are leaning more into the messy female character, the messy female protagonist. Where Adults is a maximalist absurdity, Overcompensating plays like a cringe-core diary entry. And maybe both are valid. Because for Gen Z, humor isn't just for laughs, it's a survival tactic. Overcompensating gives us a full emotional arc. Benny and Carmen start as acquaintances who try and fail to hook up, and instead they ended up building something deeper. Carmen grieving her brother and chasing social status. Benny's terrified to come out, navigating toxic masculinity through his brother-in-law Peter and exploring queer love with Miles. It's slow, sometimes clumsy, but it's growth. And I know that this show has a lot of potential for season 2, because we know how that ended. On a cliffhanger. In Adults, the characters feel more stuck. Each episode resets the stakes, the same burnout, different punchline. There are glimpses of depth, like Issa's insecurity or Anton's stabbing soul bonding moment, but they're often undercut by another wild gag. The show leans more into sketch comedy than narrative progression. So, while Overcompensating asks you to feel, Adults wants you to react. Now I wanted to go ahead and talk about some of the most notable moments in these shows, specifically when it comes to Adults, because there were a lot of things that made me surprised and just threw me through a loop. I've watched a lot of TV in my life. I've watched a lot of crazy stuff. Like, we've been through it all. But this edgelord kinda, I don't know if I would call it edgelord, but there's something about it that is jarring. So like I mentioned previously, we have Issa rubbing it like a DJ on the subway, trying to prove a point, because there was a man on the subway who was getting off at that moment. And you know, Gen Z, I think they were trying to parody what they feel like Gen Z people would do, but Gen Z is so defiant and they really know about making a cultural movement, and they do the most. That feels like what they were trying to say by making Issa do that.
Sir, you are experiencing a mental health crisis. Step 1, these resources Oh, there's a paywall.
So what are the rules, huh? We can just masturbate at strangers now? No one cares? That's totally fine?
No, She's crazy?
You didn't expect me. Please, she's doing this for your daughters. She's doing this for your daughters, I think.
Oh, you wanna go faster?
The point was not made. And I quite literally felt offended. I don't know, on her behalf. Like, we got a full-on monologue about sexual repression while she... Now, let's talk about another thing that threw me through a loop. It is the episode where Billy goes back to her old high school or middle school, forgive me if I'm wrong, and her being there, firstly, it started off really wholesome. She was trying to find herself. You know, she's just like 23, she's like my age, and she felt lost, so she came back to where she's comfortable, and it was funny. It's funny. I personally would never go back to my school unless I'm coming there to show them how far I've come, but hey. So her teacher actually helps her to get this money. I think it's money for the surgery that she had to do in a certain episode where Samir made the decision to get this surgery done, right? And in order for her to express her gratitude, she gets on her knees and thanks him. And to me, I find that so jarring. So jarring. Does it make for good shock factor? Definitely, because if your plan was to make me shocked, oh, I was shocked. But doesn't that make her teacher like a groomer because he knew her when she was a child? And you know what really made me sick to my core? Billy coming back after all that to her friend's house and the gold star behind her ear. Like, that is gross. If he wasn't her teacher, maybe it'd be cute. But this is gross. And the progression of him figuring out that he shouldn't be dating her was even crazier to me. He basically arrives. If you've watched it, you watch it. I'm not here to tell you guys everything that happens because I can't. He comes for dinner at her and her friend's house, and he's high off of the K. That's when he realizes that she's a child.
Has it ended with her?
What?
Oh, fuck. What the fuck am I doing? Oh, man, what the fuck am I doing? This girl is a child. No. I'm dating a child.
No.
I'm dating a child. I'm really happy they ended that quickly. I feel like she likes Samir. I feel like they like each other and they're gonna have something. Also, when they all crowd in the bathroom at the same time, very chaotic. So chaotic. Comment down below if you guys remember any other wild things that happened in the show, because wild indeed. Oh, I just remembered how much I love Anton and Paul Baker's budding romance. I felt like it was gonna happen, but I wasn't sure whether they were gonna do it, but they did it, and I'm feeling it. I really am feeling it. I find Issa so annoying. Sorry, not sorry. Most of them are annoying in the show anyways, but Issa's a special annoying. but she's also pretty. So it's like, girl. On to overcompensating. So Benny and Carmen have a failed hookup. That was hilarious. There's the flesh and gold party that was very quirky. Very, very quirky. Also, side note, I wanted to say that I read an article saying that overcompensating takes place anytime from 2015 till 2025. So it's basically made as a time warp theme. Like, it could basically fit any time period. But for me, it gave me very much early 2010s vibes. Comment down below if you got early 2010s vibes from this show. Also, Carmen hooking up with the girl who she, just friended. Man, crazy. I was like, get that D, get it. But then I was like, damn, you're gonna be in trouble. Adam DeMarco's character's name, totally forgot. Hot, obviously. But yeah, he also is he had very standout moments in the show as well, especially towards the end when he came to the front door of the party all drunk and talking about how he's moving to New York. Whole time he doesn't know that his girl just found out that he was having an affair with the girl that she's been here being friends with. Comment down below any other moments that you remember, because I'm just going off of my memory right now. Ooh, before I run away from this, Charlie XCX mention. And also, we had Julia Fox in Adults, so both of the shows are good at bringing celebrities for a cameo. Here's the real debate. Do these shows feel similar to the real life experiences of us as Gen Z? Adults sometimes feels like it was written by a very online 30-something-year-old reading Gen Z tweets, which I'm pretty sure is true. The chaos is dialed to 11 with mixed results. Sometimes these moments are a hit, other times they just feel exaggerated and cringeworthy. In Overcompensating, despite its dramatics, it hits closer to home. It captures the hyper self-aware, insecure, socially anxious energy so many of us live in. Benny's journey isn't glamorous. His family, the fact that he has to hide who he is from them, is relatable to a lot of people, as well as Carmen's downfall, which is even more painfully familiar. So maybe it's less about being quirky and more about being seen, flaws and all. Adults, while extremely jarring, possesses sleeper hit energy. Even when it fumbles, you can tell it's swinging big. Overcompensating feels like A24's next Gen Z darling. Raw, weird, full of moments that make you go, ugh, I've been there. And even going back to Adults, a lot of the experiences that they were highlighting in the show, whether it's going to the doctors by yourself, or having to open your mail that you've been avoiding, or in general just getting laid off from your job, or not having a job at all, or starting with jobs that are just like entry level, yeah, these are all relatable to us. The only thing that throws us through a loop is obviously the excessive comedy. Maybe that's the point. Gen Z doesn't need universal appeal. We want to feel understood by someone and not everyone. That brings me to the end of my rant today. Did you guys like Overcompensating in Adults? Which one did you prefer? Did you like both of them equally? Both of them are messy, both of them are flawed, and both of them are raw. Do you guys think that one is more annoying than the other or more jarring than the other? Because I cannot be alone in this thinking. Other than that, love the cast so much, love the performances. Yes, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.